What's up, Brianna? A rare live. What's happening? What's happening, Lokeo? Peace, peace. What's happening? Yep, I'm still in the great state of Texas. Okay, so let's get to it. You know, we don't need to do all that stuff or wait until enough people and all that. The thing, it'll post on its own. So I think I put in the title. I think I called it "Your Filter," and this is in reference to a loose reference to like some Kabbalah. You know, when you study these, you read in these books, they always talk about how it's really an oral tradition, and its most notable written reference to the Kabbalah is the Zohar, which is a collection of it's a multi-volume set of Zohar. But I want to just deal with that whole concept of it being an oral tradition, the Kabbalah. First of all, let's start here that Kabbalah, the word comes from Kabul. It's the root Kabul, and Kabul means to receive. Okay, which I'm sure everybody know that. Everybody and their mama know that. But what does it really mean? We're going to get into that. But it always says that the Kabbalah is an oral tradition. So that means the reception is through an oral vehicle. Now, interestingly, the word oral comes from the same root, peace, Erica, from the same root as the word kiss. So when you read in the Bible about, so many arguments can be built on things. It's just kind of like just super base level. You know, like you hear some people argue, like, yeah, the Bible got homosexual stuff in there, Jesus kissing another, and it's not talking about on a deeper level. It's not talking about a literal kiss. Kiss means to be an oracle, to speak. Oracle, oral, same root, aura. Okay. So when you hear that about the Kabbalah being an oral tradition, naturally you're going to think, oh, it's like some people were sitting around in some primitive time, and they were sitting around a campfire, and some elder with a long beard and maybe something on his head or her head was conveying these jewels of wisdom to this captive audience. And that probably is true. I'm sure that is part of what it's referencing. But I think there's something deeper. Just think about it. If it's talking about it's an oral tradition, meaning something that is spoken, it's a word that's spoken from one source to another. Could it be referring to something deeper, as in you getting to a point where you can hear? Hear what? To hear your own self. To hear your own self speaking. We see, damn man, we see in the 6th chapter of Deuteronomy. And it's funny because Deuteronomy, the word deuter is two or second, and nomi is law. So it's the second law. Deutero means second. So the second law. And in the 6th chapter, it starts up with something, I think it's chapter 6. It's either 4 or 6. It starts out with something called Shema, O Israel. And the word Shema means to hear. But for you to hear something also means for you to receive it. So once you are able to hear something or hear this voice, it is not knowledge for you to project. It's not so that you can have knowledge to befuddle. It's not so that you can have knowledge to entertain. It is so that you can understand. Understand. You see, you have the number 1 is initiation, number 2 is reception, and then you go beyond that. It's 3 is the understanding. But before you can understand, you have to hear or receive. Shema, O Israel. This is not something I'm pulling from a book. This is, Idris Shah has a saying that's one of my favorites. I actually got this hanging up in my office. It says, wisdom is when you understand what you previously only knew. Wisdom is when you understand what you previously only knew. And what's interesting about my life is that I have 4 children, and 2 of them are real young, real small. So here I am at this point of life where most people in my age group are kind of, well into their thing, they're doing their thing, they're traveling, and I'm not able to do all those things because of a choice I make. I make the choice to be present and very involved in my children's lives. But what has happened through this is I don't have the chance to read like I used to. I used to could sit for hours and digest things and contemplate and really amass a lot of knowledge. I have forgotten more than the average person might ever know as far as accumulation of knowledge. And it's not to be egotistical, it's just a fact. But last year I went home to visit my mother, and when I left, I lost some kind of way. I lost the whole toolbox. I lost the toolbox. How the hell do you lose a heavy toolbox? I don't know. Other than it was something divinely intuned, or something that was supposed to happen. And a lot of things you got to sit with in your life. You got to sit with those things. You won't always understand things when they happen. That's why it's the beauty of living long enough to have time to reflect and to listen, and which is reception. So I lost these tools. And now as I sit back and look almost a year later, and I reflect on how I don't have the time to read like I used to, but my level of understanding and the wisdom that I have is heightened. It's heightened. That's why I want to say something too. It is your divine right. You need to live, especially for black men. It's important to make it to the age 40, Because to be honest, things are set up for you to not make it to the age 40, either through your environment, what you consume, and that's what you're eating, what you're drinking, what you're mentally consuming, people around you. All these things are set up to shut you down before you can reach the age 40. It is imperative, it is your right to be able to live to 40 and beyond so that you can start to reap the benefits of the wisdom that is owed to you for laboring in the vineyard. Okay? So, I don't have my tools, right? So I correlate that to I'm not able to sit and read books like I used to. And honestly, I don't really need to anymore, not like I used to. Because understanding is priceless. It is priceless. And the time that I have to dedicate to my children and work and other things with my family. Now, I can't physically pick up a book, but I still have this. I don't do as many videos as much as I used to because I just don't want to. And it's a lot of things mixed up in that. One, I don't want to be running my mouth all the time because when I'm not talking, I have a chance to process things. And see, there's this constant urge to be the first one to press. I want to be the first one to report the news and say that I dropped it and this and that. And that's well and good, but that's not important for me. It is the ability to be able to sit back and watch and analyze is priceless, because then you have a chance to really understand what is going on. It's just like when you eat food. If you constantly keep stuffing your face, you will not even have a chance to realize that you're already full, because you haven't taken a moment to just chew your food and relax and let swallow some, maybe take a sip of water, and then before you know it, you are miserable because you overate, because you didn't. It's a lack of understanding of what your relationship is with the food. You have to respect the food. It's not to be mutilated and annihilated. The food is a part of a coexistence that's going to sustain your life. Okay, now what the hell are you talking about, Jamal? You're all over the place. No, I'm not really. So, by having this time to go inside of my head more and process things I see going around, things are just the nature of people. Whether it's just sitting in the parking lot and watching other day how people were in the parking lot, and humans are lower than animals. A human will hold up a whole flow of traffic just to get one parking space to save save his or herself one or two steps. The laziness, the entitlement of humans. Okay, so you sit back and just study all these things. But coming back to Kabbalah, when you learn how to be still and observe and not be so eager to act and respond and to be the first person to say, I said it, there are jewels that just fall into your lap. And that is the reception. And part of the reception is it helps you to build a filter. Where you go back and start recalling information and data that you just put into the machine. Now you have a chance to actually digest it. It is imperative to have a filter now in the world we live in, because whether we understand it or not, we are in a different world. We're always talking about the Aquarian age and Aquarian age and this and that. And it's because we have a romanticized idea about the Aquarian age where everything is going to be blissful and everyone will be walking around with these perfect gold auras, and but I don't think that's what it is. I think we're in it and we don't know it. And there always has to be a ebb and flow, a war, or some type of resistance. So the resistance is heightened in a subtle way in the Aquarian age. The resistance is heightened because the resistance is closer now, because the resistance is you and I. That's the resistance. See, the Piscean age is about the resistance being from a top-down type thing. And you still have that model, but the top-down is more so it's covert. The resistance is to get you to turn on devices inside of you to be counterproductive to you. Okay? Prime example. Why you got to have a filter. Your greatest asset is always your greatest albatross. And for melanated people, one of your greatest assets, one of our greatest assets is our emotional connection. We are able to tap into the cosmic waters. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But it's also horrid. It's horrific. Because tapping into the emotions without any regulator means that your emotions can be used as a weapon against you. So you see, it's give and take in this universe. Your emotions, they give us the opportunity to be and the ability to be ultra creative, fashion, music, dancing, sports, all of the arts. We have a natural inclination to tap into the right brain, but that can be just as much as of a hindrance as being a completely left brain person, because your emotions, unsteered, uncontrolled, can then be moved into different directions. Now, this is where the Kabbalah comes in. If the whole system is about reception, okay, even if you come into this incarnation with these beautiful gifts, okay, well, and this is nothing I'm getting from a book, it's just sitting looking at it. Because I was coming down the highway the other day and I was thinking, when you go in these cities, highways are always backed up. Traffic is always backed up. Are we to believe that some engineers somewhere are this inept that they don't understand that this could be better designed to route traffic? Or is it part of an understanding of as above, so below, as within, so without, that backing up traffic when people have been on a job where they've been emotionally backed up, physically backed up? You got to sit at a desk where you can't even go and defecate when you need to. Our whole life is geared towards being backed up, clogged up, backed up. You eat food that clogs up your arteries. Or we indulge in, I don't want to talk at you, I want to talk to you. I'm not going to come at you with the you, so it's, pardon me for that. We do these things. None of us is perfect. We do these things that clog and back up and retard things. It's almost like, living in a permanent retrograde. And you see on the Kabbalah, when you look at the visual Kabbalah, you see these different pathways. And these pathways could be likened to the arteries that run through our cities, highways. Always backed up, always backed up. Another artery is media. Now, this is a big one. Why it is so important to control media is you are controlling the circulatory system of the universe, or let's not say the universe, but of the world, by controlling media. Because people, us, we have these antennas. I'm thinking back, like back in the day, when I was growing up, it was, we had what was called rabbit ears. And the rabbit ears, you would put the foil on top, and you got to stand there and dance with this thing and move it around until hopefully you get some reception. Well, we're in a digital era now where it's a lot easier to pick up to gain reception. We're out of analog. We're in the Aquarian age. Everybody, you can pick up the signal you want. Okay? That's good on one hand. It's terrible on another. Because if your filter is not up to par, then you will spend your time picking up signals that you don't need to pick up. I'm going somewhere with this, but I'm not going to go full bore where I want to go. I'm purposely going to be ambiguous is about what I'm really getting to, but you can read between the lines if you got some common sense about what I'm building up to. Everybody knows who is listening to my videos how much I've been influenced by the works of Bobby Hemmett and Phil Valentine, and C. Freeman L. But I want to really hone in on Bobby Hemmett right here. He said that, it's a turn lane. If it's on the TV, then you should be cautious about what's in front of you and how realistic it is. Okay? If you subscribe to, any of the things he taught, I ain't saying you got to agree with, you shouldn't agree wholeheartedly with anything anybody says, because you are a free, sentient being who can think for yourself. But that's one thing that he was dead on the money about. When things are put in front of you and presented to you as something that you should care about, you should be a little put off by that. Your spidey senses should go ding, 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 ding. If everybody's talking about it, here's just a basic rule of thumb. If everybody's talking about it, you probably shouldn't be talking about it. If everybody is leaning one way on something, you probably should analyze what the counter perspective is to find out what the midpoint is. You're not trying to be polar. You want to find what's the counter just so you can find the middle, because that's where the truth lies. Your filter comes along with your wisdom, and having the wisdom then gives you the patience to sit with things and to analyze things before you take a stance on them. And when you do that, 9 times out of 10, you're going to come out victorious. Now, if I don't have all of the tools or all of the raw materials that a certain group of people have, then what's the next best thing is for me to control the framework and the structure of things. So, because people always, you'll see these things about, people talk about so-and-so was working the dark arts and they were using Kabbalah and these lucid, but they can never really tell you how it's done. They can never really tell you. I'm giving you the playbook right here. It's through trickery. But what's the trickery? The trickery is through controlling the channels of information and altering your antenna. If your antenna doesn't have a filter on it, meaning if you, here's a good one. If you are more drawn to entertainment than to actual learning, it will retard your filter's ability to decipher waste material from good nutrients. And you'll get swept up into a vacuum over and over and over again. And you have the most sincere efforts, you have the most sincere intentions, and you still get swept up into the vacuum because you think you're being sincere. You think you want to learn, but you really just want to be entertained. And so if I don't have the raw goods that you have, then I'm going to take an artificial route to tap into your source so I can feed on it. And it is through your own or our own failure to understand how to learn. And the learning is from learning how to be quiet. You learn by learning how to be quiet. I've seen time and time again people who are technically considered to be slow. They don't talk much. And so people will say all types of things around them. And every now and then that person will surprise you and they've been picking up something. Because everybody thought they were slow. What we do with our children, we think the children cannot pick up stuff. I remember when my mother learned when she couldn't spell around me, because my mother's best friend was Miss Maples. And she was talking to her one night. I got in the back seat. I'm a little boy. I'm probably 4 or 5 years old. And she was saying, yeah. And, and if you seen, well, anybody know my mama is a universal master of cussing. But she wasn't cussing that night. She was just trying to say them niggas. And she was telling, she said, yeah, them N-I-G-Gs. And I said, Mama, what's a nig? And she said, damn. And she knew, okay, I can't spell around him no more, at least nothing simple. So that's what I'm trying to say. Listening. Learning to sit back and digest things and listen before you get your emotions all caught up. Listen, your emotions all caught up into something that really has no bearing on your life. Just think about this. Think about this. You came into this world through one womb. 9 times out of 10 by yourself. Even if you came as a twin or a triplet or a quadruplet or whatever, you had to come through the actual tunnel by yourself. There might have been one coming out before you and right after, but you came through the tunnel by yourself. You are going to die by yourself. So it is of the utmost importance for you to have a filter in this life, because it is your right. It is your gateway to sovereignty to have a filter to be able to block out what you deem, not what somebody else tells you. Oh, you should care about this. You should care about this. No, you control what you care about. What should be able to have space in your arena, your temple? You learn how to do that through just experience. Some stuff you can't finagle your way through, you can't fake your way through, you can't trick your way through, you can't cliff note your way through. You have to live and experience this. And this is, I say this with nothing but love. I say this with nothing but love. You have to experience this. Shema, O Israel. Hear, hear. Here. There are no messages coming from nowhere other than right here. It's all right here. Now, does that mean you don't need inspiration? You don't need to still get information and data? No, I'll be the last one to say that. But understand what the ultimate thing is, to sharpen your own laser. That's why it is imperative, again, to not give attention to things that are not worthy of your attention. And that's the only way somebody can really trick you. It's to get you to pay attention to something that you really shouldn't care about. You know, if you're a parent, if you're a husband or a wife, if you're a son, whatever, or a daughter, pick your tribe and hang your hat right there, you know? And that's not saying that you should do that at the expense of yourself, but along with developing yourself, your soul, for its next journey beyond this, you should also be inclined to, if your mental space is going to go somewhere, it's going to be them babies you hear in the back singing and talking in the back of my truck, and which is for me, and things of that nature, because that's the ultimate weapon. The ultimate weapon now is diversion. It's diversion. It's just like a ghost. They say a ghost can't really hurt you. A ghost can only incline you to hurt yourself. An astrologer I listened to, he says the stars don't compel, they just impel. Only you compel and move yourself. You just have influences. What do they call this thing on YouTube now? So-and-so is an influencer. Think about the terms we're using. Oh, he's an influencer. Or any social media, yeah, baby. Any social media person who's got a strong following. Yeah, baby. It's time to go? Is it time to go? Okay. There you go. That's the wrap up. Influencer. Any person who's got a certain amount of followers or whatever, they're considered to be an influencer. Let's think about it. What is influencing you? Who is governing you? Who's steering you? Who's driving you? Is it you? Or is it something else outside of you? I never saw that movie Us. Of course, like I said, I don't get to go and see movies and all that. But you know, when I saw the trailer, I said, I don't need to see it. The movie's called Us, and there's a family. Okay, baby. And it looks like the threat is coming from people who look just like them. Do you need to go and see the movie after that? And I'm sure I'm oversimplifying. I don't need to go and see it. The concept of us, and I know I've said this before, and it's worthy of being restated. The concept of us may be the greatest crutch there is. That might be the greatest crutch there is the concept of us. Because this is what it can do. It can retard your ability to self-police, to improve, to evolve, because too much emphasis is placed on how we collectively move. And see, then you got to say that once you start talking about what we need to do, then you got to start thinking about, well, who is the person who's already doing it the way it should be done? And naturally, you're going to start seeing yourself as, well, I'm one of the people that, you know, I got it right. This is what people need. People need to be following what I'm talking about, because this is, that's the danger of it. That's the danger of speaking in those generalities of us and they and we. And a beehive is composed of a lot of individual components: drones, worker bees, queen bee, where each entity is doing its job. And the beehive is held in check by each bee knowing what category it's in and doing its job. You don't have a bee like, hey, well, I think what we need to do is we need to go out here. We need to be trying to get the daylilies first, and we need to go and get we need to go over to the roses next. No, it is do your job, stay in your lane. The Piscean era was an era of us, because it was an era of belief. We need to believe in this mythical concept. The Aquarian era is so much available for each individual to know if that individual has the drive and the will and the desire to know and to improve him or herself. There are no longer any excuses. It can no longer be the excuse of the collective, because you walk around with a computer in your pocket. I did a class, and I told them, I said, don't ask me questions that you can go on Google. I'm not a butler. I'm not a maid. I'm not somebody here to entertain, so you're gonna ask me a question just to see if I'm gonna answer you. No, I got babies. I'll entertain them like that. Oh yeah, that's good. Look, daddy, I sharpened the pencil. Good job, son. I'm not doing that with any adults. Okay, baby, I know. I'm wrapping it up. When you can go, if you have the desire in your heart to want to improve yourself and elevate and evolve your soul, you can do it. Simple, point blank. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and ye shall find. And then you'll be able to get things that you really need. Like somebody needs to hear this message today. Somebody needs to hear it. If it's not just one person, somebody needs to hear it. This is not entertainment. This is not to jack my chain or to stroke my ego. This is with love. Because you want to come here and you want to, so much emphasis, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to wrap it up. So much emphasis sometimes is put on graduating. And, when you're a child, you're ready to graduate. I'm ready to get out of high school. I'm tired of mama, daddy trying to tell me what to do. I can't wait till I got my own. I can't wait. Now, if you're into occult studies and metaphysical studies, and that is where you have gotten, you stopped at, and the key word stopped, then, I kind of feel bad for you. If that's where your mindset has gotten you to where, I'm tired of this. I'm ready to get out of this. Well, we all know from our adulthood that it's real out there when you got to get out and pay bills. Somebody hear me out there? Is it not real out here? You get out there and got to get out there and pay bills. You got to take care of these babies. You once were the baby, now you got to take care of the babies. So Yes, it is your right to become divine or to fully manifest your divine essence. But if you spend all your time in school beatboxing in the back of the classroom, there's a good chance that you might, you know, there's a good chance that you gonna be the dude, you know, who walking around angry, you know, just on the back of the trash truck. And there's nothing wrong with working on the back of the trash truck. But I think a lot of people who do it would like to be doing something else. Take this same simple approach to your spirituality. Don't be in such a rush, you know, proclaiming how this world is such a worthless sack of nothing, and you're ready to get through it and get past it because you've already gone. Okay, don't worry, everybody's gonna graduate. Everybody's gonna graduate. That's called death. The key is, did you learn anything while you were in school? Are you gonna retain anything? Are you gonna have any lessons that you can reflect back on, that you can carry out into the real world? Just something to think about. Glad to be had this opportunity to chit chat. Maybe it's cause Mercury is in going into Aries. I don't know if it's in Aries or on its way. Maybe that's why I felt like, oh, maybe I got something to say. I don't know. But you know, as always, stay down till you get up. If you get up, stay down. Check out our music. Think Music. Shout out to the homie Dap. Shout out to Low Key. Shout out to brother Cold Black. Ow, baby. And you know, who knows? Maybe we'll come back and have another have another chit chat sometime soon. I don't know what's in the comments. This girl biting my damn finger. Maybe we let me see here if I get a chance to read through here. See, I get off here. I'm gonna pull off the highway. And let's see. Flow that runs towards the storm. Right. Let's see. Okay, second chamber says, paraphrased. Let's see here. I'll read this in just a second. Paraphrased wisdom is inner processed knowledge. Whoa. Information is often dispensed or given, but not processed with internal ears of the heart. Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think that sums it up. We can get a benediction on that one. No, that's not. But all jokes aside, that's the truth. Well spoken. You can always spot a writer. This sounds like a writer. Paraphrase wisdom. Okay. I'm gonna get you one. We're gonna go down this one, okay? But either way, that's gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna tend to the babies here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Peace.